Let's call this meeting to order. It's 7:07. Happy Tuesday, everybody. 1, this meeting is being recorded, lest you forget. 2, the closed captioning is enabled. If you would like closed captioning, you can, toggle that on for yourself. And just be mindful that when you're talking, you're being closed captioned. So try to talk only one person at a time. I think that's it for that. I'm thinking about my check-in question. I was thinking my check-in question will be, what is your favorite fall activity? Because now it turns out it's fall all of a sudden. So I can go first, which is, I don't even know. I guess I would say my favorite fall activity is biking, but that's not very creative because I do that all the time. But there's something about biking in the fall that I enjoy, with like the leaves and they're wafting, and it's kind of like you can smell that like fall smell. I kind of like it. So I'm into it. What about you, Teresa?
Not cleaning the leaves, that's for sure. That's something that I'm not. But I think like, I know it's getting the time of like hot chocolate, like that kind of feeling in the fall. So I enjoy that. I started already last weekend, like making hot chocolate. So that's something I enjoy. All right. What about you, Nicole?
I'll have to agree with Benny. I don't ride my bike, but I enjoy running in the fall because the temperature is just right. When you look up, leaves are all colors, and then you get home and eat some pumpkin pancakes or something, or pumpkin spiced coffee, which I know is but I love it. So that's what I like. Jeremy.
I'm gonna have 2. So one is I love college football and NFL football in the fall. So I can't get enough of it. I have it on all the time. Well, not all the time, but I just like to watch it. Doesn't have to be the Patriots, doesn't have to be my college teams. I just like to see it. And the other one is we have an annual pumpkin carving party that we've had for the last 17 years with the same family. So that's always fun. So we did that, before Halloween. So those are 2 good things about the fall that I really like. So
Jeremy, I need to know, what was your pumpkin?
I just did I winged it this year. Normally I have this elaborate pattern, but I just made like a scary face, a traditional type of jack-o'-lantern. But we usually do some pretty creative ones. We have someone did a witch, and they used the stem for the nose, so they carved the pumpkin on its side. They get pretty creative. So we've been doing it since our boys were born. So that's like Spencer's 16. So yeah, so like 16, 17 years, same family. So same 3 families. So it's pretty cool. So it's our APCP, annual pumpkin carving party. Yeah. So that was good. So how about you, Daniela?
My favorite fall thing, I think, is going to be a new tradition, but going to Salem Night Fest. So I went and got a bunch of spooky or witchy crafts and art. So I will definitely be back next year. It's a good fair, but unfortunately we don't have like that type of fairs or night markets around all year round. What about you, Eileen?
I'm with you, Nicole. I am super basic and love all of the pumpkin things, the pumpkin spice, the pumpkin donuts. We love apple picking and finding a place that also has pumpkins at the same time. So I think that's our favorite. But yeah, give me a pumpkin spice latte every day. I will do it all year round. I may or may not hoard the pumpkin creamer from the supermarket, because they don't ever go bad, because it's all chemicals. So how about you, Maria?
I'm gonna go the opposite of what I think it was Teresa said. I love raking leaves. I love it. I love the sound of it. I love the smell of it. I love like, it's just that exertion of being outside and everything like that. And so yeah, and generally make a colossal leaf pile, and then the kids all jump in it and make a giant mess, and we rake it up all again. So yeah, I love it. And Emanuela.
So my favorite thing to do in the fall is probably sit. We're lucky enough to live in an older house, so we have a fireplace, and we usually put that on and then watch a movie and have like hot chocolate or like tea. So that's probably one of my favorite things to do in the fall.
I love it. That was a really delightful list of things. I feel delighted right now. I forgot about apple picking. How do you forget about apple picking? I love apple picking. I didn't go this year. Is it too late? Is it over? No, it's still going. I gotta go. Anyway. Cool. Let's see. Approval of the minutes. So let's do last month's general HRC meeting. Does anybody have any changes they would want to make to the minutes from last month? No, all good. Great. In that case, who would like to make a motion that we approve the minutes?
I make a motion that we approve the minutes from the October Wakefield Human Rights Commission meeting.
Second.
Great. Let's vote. How about you, Teresa? How do you vote?
Yes.
Nicole?
Yes.
Jeremy?
Yes.
Daniela?
I watched the recording and read the notes. Can I
Oh, you
vote?
weren't there. No. Yeah, thank you. Eileen?
Yes.
Maria?
Yes.
Manuela?
Yes.
Excellent. Okay. Great job, everybody. Also, BT Dubs, congratulations, Daniela. We haven't seen you, or I haven't seen you since your wedding, so congratulations.
Yay.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Okay. There's 3 Indigenous Peoples Day subcommittee meeting notes that we have to approve from September 22nd, September 29th, and October 6th. We are allowed to approve them all in a lump. Does anybody have any changes that they want to make? Well, by anybody, I mean Nicole and Daniela. Do you have any changes you want to make to any of those? Great. Do you want to make a motion that we approve them?
I move to that we approve the meeting notes from September 22nd, September 29th, and October 6th for Indigenous Peoples Day subcommittee meetings.
I second.
Fabulous. Nicole, what's your vote?
Yes.
Daniela?
Yes.
Me also, I'm a yes. Great. We're flying through. And the last one is the October 9th, Martin Luther King Jr. and Curtis King Day Subcommittee notes.
November, you mean?
I
November
have no
9th.
idea. November 9th. Sorry, I wrote it wrong in the thing then. Thank you. Who's on that subcommittee? The 3 of you. Okay.
Yep.
Any
I
changes?
vote to approve the minutes from November 9th, MLKC CSK meeting notes, minutes.
I second the motion.
Yep.
Great. Jeremy, how do you vote?
Yes.
Nicole?
Yes.
Teresa?
Yes.
Thank you, everybody. Okay. So on that topic, do the 3 of you want to share about like how it's going? What you're planning? What's going on?
I think we had more questions than
That's
than
great too.
answers. So we wanted to kind of get this time to do a little brainstorming, I guess, or see what other people, what thoughts were. So we want to make sure we obviously get on a theme for this year. One of the questions that came up was about budget. Do we have a budget for this at all? We were thinking about also looking into a gospel group or something maybe around the area that we could bring, just kind of more of a musical sense to the event. I did go to the town website and try to figure out how to reserve the Galvin. I created a login and account and it said somebody would get back to me. It was like an automated thing. I don't know if I did it right, but I did get an email confirmation that said they were going to look into the request of the account. So it's not even the request of, get in the room. It's just a request of, because it's a new system. So you have to do this whole new thing. So hopefully I'll hear soon.
Yeah, they got rid of school dude. No more school dude.
No more school dude?
That's what I
Oh,
think
yeah.
when I looked at it, like, I don't know, at some point I was trying to look at it. Oh, it was when we were filling out that thing for Sherry, when she was like, tell me about the resources and how you do stuff. And I was like, you go to school dude. And then I went to like get the link to show it to her. And I was like, oh no,
God.
it's not school dude anymore.
Yeah, no, it's a whole new thing on the town website. You have to watch this video and it shows you how to do it. So hopefully I follow the right steps. So I guess the first question is, do we have funds or how do we find that out?
I have two thoughts about this. One is like, there's some money in our budget, so we can figure out how much money that is. And, some of it could potentially go to this event. We can vote on how much we would like to spend on it. The other thought I have is something that I have been totally neglecting, which is there was a grant that Pina Masciarelli was somehow involved in. She like got a grant or gave some money. I'm not sure what the deal is,
Right.
but there's some money available for us to do a joint event with the Metco program, I think.
It was either
Or-
Medco or Black Student Union. I
Yeah,
forget.
exactly. One of those. And so I haven't been in contact with Lavia about this because I like literally forgot about it until just now. Until you emailed me that question about the budget, I was like, oh wait, there's this money available somewhere for us to do a thing. So this would be, I think, like a conversation to have with Glavia of like, hey, there's this money. We would love to do a thing with you. That could be related to MLK and CSK Day, or it could be something else. Like, I don't think we should dictate that this has to be what it's for, but there is some money out there. Let me see if I can find this email from Pina.
Yeah, that would be great if we can find out how much, we have.
Let me find the information and forward it to you. But does that feel like a task you can bite off, is to contact?
Yeah, I think that was something that actually Nicole was going to be doing, like reaching out to her anyways, right?
Yeah, I have reached out to her, but I didn't talk to her about that. She actually will be at hopefully the next meeting too, so she can do her little bit and then we can also talk about that but I'll try to talk to her by tomorrow before our meeting today.
Yeah, and I think the middle school also is interested in participating with us. There's a group of youth that will be working on it too. So I guess the other thing is, if anybody has any ideas or any suggestions or any thoughts on speakers or anybody like that you would think, I mean, you don't have to tell us right now, but if you can shoot us an email, so Jeremy, Nicole, and I, and just let us know what your thoughts are. We are meeting tomorrow as a subcommittee meeting, and we are going to try to come up with the theme. And then again, every year we do the awards, so we have to kind of line all that stuff up. I was looking at different themes online, or different quotes and things that people have been using for the events. So the time is always right to do what is right. Things like that. I don't know. I feel like with everything that's going on that has happened, maybe at the high school, at the middle school, maybe we can kind of focus on something about going that route. So anyway, so we're kind of looking for, I guess, ideas, suggestions. If you know somebody that you think might be a good speaker, or if you're thinking, or if you know of some group in the area that we can kind of join this musical piece to the event, let us know.
Okay, really quick to circle back, I found the email. I can forward it to you. It's $250 for the Black Student Union and the Wakefield Human Rights Commission to provide educational and social justice programming.
Oh, that's perfect.
So that could be like, if they were interested, if this is something that they like are wanting to do, we could put the money towards that. But anyway, so that's maybe a conversation to have with Glavia.
Perfect. Thank you.
If you want, the Melrose Symphony Orchestra is going to be performing with Renice King, or who is a gospel singer located in Boston. She is she's played with us, or she's sung with us in previous years. She is amazing, doesn't even come close. And I don't know, she may be she's gotten fairly famous, so she may not be able to, but she might have suggestions for other people, or if she, I mean, she may already be booked that day too. So, but I could reach out to her if you want to see.
Yeah, no, please.
Ideas.
That would be awesome.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Yep.
Also, just FYI, we didn't do it last year because it was kind of my like assumption or oversight. I didn't realize they would be able to do it given the COVID restrictions, but the Wakefield Community Choir like really likes participating in the MLK Day event. And the contact person for that is Wendy Dennis.
Although she
And-
moved.
Yeah, I was gonna say, she's still doing it.
They moved to like New Hampshire or something.
Right.
She's still on Facebook. So I wonder, I mean, I don't know if she'd come down for it, or if there's someone else that's the contact person.
Yeah, she might at least be able to tell you who to email or whatever. Yeah, she was always our contact person, so I'm sure that she can tell you who to talk to. And so for themes, I'm going to put it out there. I don't know if there's an appetite for this. I like every year I'm sort of like chomping at the bit for there to be more of a, like the theme usually is about like service, right? Or volunteering or like things like that. And I do think that our MLK CSK Day events lack a little bit Dr. King and Chris Scott King's analysis about like oppression, actually. Like it's like we don't really talk about the oppression part of it. We talk about like volunteerism. And I think that that's something that's lacking. And sometimes like Christina brought that like as part of her remarks when she was emceeing 2 years ago. Like it does like weave its way in certain places, but so I don't know if there's an appetite or a possibility to have a theme that's like more direct in that way. So I don't know what people's thoughts are. I encourage your reactions, your thoughts, your questions.
I don't know if it would help, but I know some people on the Black Student Union. So would it help to get like a student perspective on that as well if they would like to join the event?
I actually sent the note to Blavia with the information for the meeting tomorrow. And
Okay.
I don't know if you know, my daughter is in the BSU, so hopefully one of them, somebody will be in the group, be there tomorrow. But maybe it probably is more helpful if the youth does a little more pushing than someone's mom. You're right.
No problem, but I don't know if it would help if anything works.
Yeah, I love that. I think having a perspective from some of the students would be like awesome. Other thoughts, ideas, suggestions about the theme or other pieces? Oh, go ahead, Jeremy.
I would just plug that, just because you're not on the subcommittee doesn't mean you can't join us at 6:30 tomorrow via Zoom. If you want to come and contribute, especially for this meeting where it is more of the
Brainstorming. stuff.
framing, doing the framework, like the busy work after this, we don't have any problem following up on, but the more minds and opinions this like quote unquote early on, it's not that early, but before we define everything, if you're available at 6:30, great. You don't have to be on the subcommittee to come, I don't
Right,
think,
you don't
right?
have
You just
to.
can't,
No.
maybe you can't
It's
vote
open
on
to the
stuff just to
public,
keep it.
Yeah.
So
I think there cannot be a quorum of the full HRC there. So if more than like 7 HRC people, if 7 or more HRC people show up, that would be a problem.
yeah, I don't think it's
Just
gonna
FYI.
happen, but if one of
Yeah.
two of you wanna-
We're
if
not
you're
as
free
public.
and you want to join in for the first, 15
Yeah.
minutes, whatever, we welcome you, obviously. So
Yeah, we don't want to.
if not, feel free to send emails to, Therese is our chair, but any of us, it's
Yep.
fine. So
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, there's one quote that, sorry.
Oh, go ahead,
so-
Maria.
Oh, sorry. No, there's one quote that has always stuck with me, and that Martin Luther King said, which is, let no man pull you so low as to make you hate him. And it's just such a powerful message. I mean, it's always been a powerful message, but for someone in his position, after everything after how he was treated and what he was put through and everything, that he still recognized the importance of not letting your anger turn into hate. And that he always said, fight your enemies with love. And that is something that now as we continue to have conversations about how angry people are at each other and how much hatred there is and how much division there is, that and making sure that we're not skewing his message or anything like that, but making sure that we don't reach a point where we're just hating each other because we have to, I feel like I'm oversimplifying, but wanting to work together and find ways that we can find common ground and recognize the humanity in each other before we turn to hatred.
Oh, that's good.
Eileen, were you going to say something a minute ago?
I was literally writing down what Maria said, recognize the humanity in each other. I mean, just that in and of itself is fantastic. But the word oppression and how it correlates to individuals in our community and how it's connected to Martin Luther King, like there's a piece to that I feel like I want to think a little bit more about. So if you'll send me the link for tomorrow night, maybe I'll join for a little bit, but maybe there's like a connection there around oppression in the community and how we can be supporting them. I just don't know what that is off the top of my head just yet, but and I don't know how this is all connected either, but I reached out to Benny and Maria. There was an incident at Creations Coffee like a week or so ago where one of the employees was sort of verbally assaulted, I guess, by an individual. And so it was one of those like, let's do something moments. And all I've done so far is say to Maria and Benny, like, should we do something? And so at some point I'm going to stop by and just introduce us and see what we could be doing. But there feels like there's something there. And I don't know how we incorporate it into the Martin Luther King event, but something around sort of oppression and bringing the community together, even maybe outside of an event at the Galvin, right? I'm just talking out loud to brainstorm, but if there's a way for us to be thinking about even the people that are not attending some of those events, like how do we get to them and how do we focus on that, recognize the community, the humanity in each other. I love that.
Yeah. Wow.
Anyway, I'll think more about it, but yeah, maybe I'll come to your meeting tomorrow.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey, Anna, we were just talking about the Martin Luther King, Curtis Scott King Day event and brainstorming like possible themes. We were talking about the budget for the event a little bit. And Teresa, you had another question, I feel like, that you asked at the beginning of that you had like a couple questions. Did I miss one? The theme,
So it was
the budget.
guest speakers, if anybody had an idea of guest speakers and the musical thing and the budget, and I think that was it. The room, reservation of the room, that's what will be, what's being worked on. I think that was it. I think that was all.
Do people have any ideas about guest speakers? You're thinking about like for the keynote or whatever it might be? Yeah.
I think the tricky thing is that some speakers may be more than what the budget is. Is it only the $250 or would we be pulling from more like of the general HRC budget as well?
That could be a decision that we talk about right now. Is like
But the 250 is not necessarily ours, right?
Yeah.
It's so.
It's a partnership
Mm-hmm.
fund. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I just wonder like if we don't limit ourselves to finances and just kind of throw a net to see who we could even get because people might be already occupied, but that just seemed limiting in my mind. I was like, oh, who could we find for like X amount of money? And I want to hinder the process, the thought process there.
Nicole, do you know if there are any sort of individuals that are connected to the Juneteenth, the North Shore Juneteenth organization that would be, that's sort of our regular speakers?
Maybe, but I know that we have a meeting coming up soon, but I think that a lot of them have their speaking engagements already set, but I can reach out to her name is Nicole and see if she knows. I was just also thinking like, even if we don't have a guest speaker, if we had like, maybe some of these schools are doing like a 3-person play or something about, MLK and they want to come and share that would be awesome. Or like we were saying, if we don't get like a speaker, like trying to just be a little, like could be a little different, but I guess we can, I'll see what she says like by tomorrow or something.
So I'm looking at the financial report. This is a little old. This is from September. I don't know if we have the most updated one, but this is the one that I have, which says that we have $1,000 in our budget from the town and $372.85 in the other account. So we have somewhere in the vicinity of $1,300. I think that there might be some money that's come out of that, but not like a ton. So, and we get this budget every fiscal year. So we have until the end of June to spend that $1,000. There's no reason not to spend it, right? Like we should spend it on something. So we could talk about like what the price point might be for what we would like to spend for this event. And if it turns out that the Black Student Union would like to go in on this with us and use that $250 towards this, maybe that gives us extra money for this event, or maybe we use some of what we had planned to use for something else. I'm not sure what's the right thing to do, but what do people think would be a reasonable amount of the $1,300 we have between now and June? How much would be an appropriate amount to go towards this event?
We would like $1,299.99. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. I mean, if what do you think, Teresa? Like if we had what, like a cap of 500? I don't know. I mean, is that, we wouldn't necessarily have to spend it all, but we would know that we would have sort of some range that we could look at for
Yeah.
planning.
I know. That'd be good.
Do you know what the budget was from a few years ago? Anybody know?
Well, last year we didn't spend any money on it,
Right, right. For the last live in person and
Yeah,
the,
I don't know about the
I
last.
bet the last one wasn't the guest speaker was the medical director, so we probably didn't have to pay much for that one.
Right.
And the year before that, was it
was
Teray or
Teray.
did he win an award? So,
It was Teray.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's been more than maybe 200. And I think the majority of that was food. Food and food and coffee. That I think I can't remember if there was a fee to book the Galvin, but I think it was a nominal fee. But yeah, a couple hundred. I think, just to take into consideration that like our 3 big events are in the first half of the year, although Pride would be the next fiscal year because it's in June, but MLK Day and International Women's Month, and then if there are other events that we want to do, just to.
Isn't the fiscal year through June? It ends on end of June.
I think it ends at the end of. Oh my God, I should know. You might be right.
I think it's
Yeah.
July 1.
Yes, you're right. Okay, so yeah, those are 3 big events.
I applied for the Cultural Council grant, which we had decided would go to Pride this year, and then next year we'll apply again and put it to something else. We'll kind of rotate around. They haven't processed the grant. We haven't gotten any response, but fingers crossed, if we get that, then hopefully that can cover at least, like that will, like, I don't think we'll have to spend much on Pride other than that.
So I think if we think of 500 at least for this, right? I mean, if we don't use it, right, it's okay. We don't have to use it, right? We can put it back, but at least you know that we have something, and then if we can come up with, I think that'll be good.
Yeah, I like that. You're muted, Jeremy.
And my thought is too, like the 500, like it would be like the cap. So like if we partner up with the Black Student Union, it would be like the 250 for the grant if they want to do it, and then 250. I'm not thinking like 750, So that way we keep it at a reasonable level anyway. So, but because we need approval from the whole committee to do it, that's why I say like, a maximum of 500, just so we know, like, we can pull the trigger if we need to on something.
Any other thoughts about that? The dollar amount? Cool. Would someone like to make a formal proposal?
So I say I would like to make a motion to get $500 for the event. Sorry, I don't know if you guys can hear, but my family's watching a soccer game and they're getting I'm like getting really nervous.
I think Jamaica just won or something like that.
Yeah.
I second the motion.
I'm like, oh, mute.
They're gonna start swearing. Yeah, good. And it's recorded. Anyway, okay. So then on the motion to set aside $500 for the MLK CSK Day event, how do you vote? Teresa?
Yes.
Nicole?
Yes.
Jeremy?
Yes.
Daniela?
Yes.
Eileen?
Yes.
Maria?
Yes.
Yana? Oh, no, I forgot. I'm sorry. I keep getting you like mixed up who can vote and who can't. Emma, sorry, Emma.
Yes.
Awesome. I also vote yes. This is good. Oh, and on the topic of food, I will say the last time we had the in-person event, I mean, he has a particular gift, but Frankie was able to get all that food donated. So the local businesses are like pretty down to support us if we go around and be like, hey, we're having an event. Will you donate bagels? Will you donate muffins? You know, like you go around, they'll give us stuff. They did it before.
Okay.
So if we do, I don't know if food is like a thing that we would do this year, just in terms of like eating
know.
indoors, masks.
Yeah.
But just to put it out there, I don't think it's probably necessary to spend money on food if we were to have food.
Okay.
Does anyone have any connections with the university currently, like kids or family members going to school locally? Just got an idea for a potential speaker is if we have a professor come in, someone who's, say, for example, like a professor of politics and African American studies. Could be a good, maybe not from Harvard. That sounds expensive. Could try, but usually they're pricey there.
That's a great idea.
And I guess, we don't necessarily need to have connections. I think it's just a little bit easier to get an email through the door or in front of someone. That's why I mentioned, like, if anyone has any connections to schools or people who are currently going to a school. It also helps that they can navigate the, what is it? The address book, the coursework book. Sometimes the school websites aren't completely updated.
I don't think any of us happen to have that I'm aware of. Well, Nicole, you have a family member in college, but not in this area. But I think it's a good idea to like work your network, because we also have other folks like Kim, who was on the HRC last year and maybe will be on again, hopefully.
Oh, that's right.
She
Yeah.
works at somewhere, Salem State maybe or something. Where is
Suffolk,
she?
I think.
Oh,
Suffolk.
Suffolk.
Stuff
Yeah.
like that.
I think so.
And yeah, there's other folks like
Yeah.
people that we know or people who are like supporters of the HRC who work in academia.
Yeah. Two people that come to mind are Kathy Kane, who's affiliated with Merrimack, and Brandon McKinley, I think is her last name. And she is at Smith. I think she's a women's studies professor, but I'm not 100% sure about that.
I think social work and Sheree's wife, right? Social work.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was thinking about Kathy too. That's a good idea. Yeah, cool. Daniela, that's a nice idea of like trying to pull some strings in the academic world, see if we can get a speaker.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Any other thoughts, ideas regarding the Martin Luther King, Curtis Scott King Day event? Well, you know where to go if you have more ideas. What is it, 7 o'clock tomorrow?
6:30.
6:30 tomorrow.
If you don't get the link from one of us, you can always get it from the town website.
Yep, it's up in the town. Eileen, I already sent it to you. All right, thanks.
I wanted to circle back really quick, back to the thing, Eileen, that you had brought up of that like hate event that happened at Creations. And maybe give a little more attention to that. So this was, as far as I understand, it was like, it was like a hate speech assault, right? Is that right?
Yeah, I don't I don't know all of the details, but I'll tell you how I sort of saw it and then reached out to Tanner, who owns Creations. Honestly, I just follow him on Instagram because they've got great coffee and I love coffee. And I saw that he posted a picture of him reading, sort of an anti-racism book. And then I just started to kind of read down through the comments and realized that like one of his employees, and I'm kind of filling in the dots here a little bit, and it's because I haven't had a chance to meet with Tanner yet, but we've exchanged emails. It sounds like someone from the community was sort of using racial slurs against one of his employees and obviously affected him, as it would. And so I just sent a message through Instagram to Tanner to say, like, listen, this is not a reflection of the way that our community feels about individuals, that work for you, or really anyone outside of, it was just totally inappropriate, and it's not a reflection of us. And so he thanked me so much for even saying that. And then I just said, I'd love to have a couple of us from the Wakefield HRC to just come by and get to know you and sort of get to know your employee and see if there's anything else that we could do. And I then sent that message to Benny and Maria, and I just said, it just felt like a do something moment. I don't completely know what that means next, but if nothing other than us showing up to say, like, we support you, this is not Wakefield. This isn't how we feel about, anyone part of the BIPOC community or the AAPI community or the Alphabet Mafia or whatever, right? Like, we're open and welcoming. And so he and I have exchanged messages like, this could be a good day, this could be a good day, and then it just hasn't happened yet. So I was hoping in the next day or so. What is today? Today's Tuesday. In the next few days, all the days are one big day now, but in the next few days to just pop in and talk to Tanner and just see what else we could be doing.
Yeah.
So that's
Can I
all
just-
I know so far.
Thank you. Yeah.
I was just gonna say
Can I
that.
just challenge
Oh, go ahead.
the group? Just, I know like things are happening in the town, and as we're speaking to people, I a little of part of me finds it's a little hurtful when people say to me like, that's not the town and we're not like that, because I feel like it is like that every day. If I'm out in town, someone does something, some sort of microaggression, macroaggression to me personally, that I can't, like, it's just too many to name. I mean, I just was at the library last week at the desk checking out, speaking with the lady at the front, and this man literally walked up, put his book like I wasn't even existed, and basically moved me over. Everyone's looking at him and he's just like, it's about me while I'm having it. So that's just one. And that was just last week. So
Yeah.
Even though we don't want the town to be that way, it is that way. And we are working more. I feel like more, it's like it's a work in progress.
Yeah.
And but I think that's
I appreciate
awful.
that, Nicole. Thank you for saying that. And I think also, like, sort of thank you for correcting me too, because I think you're right. I don't want the town to be that way. And I think that there are lots of community members that don't feel that way, and lots of community members that are doing that, have microaggressions and macroaggressions and don't even realize that they're doing it. And I'm sure that there are instances where I'm doing it and I don't even know I'm doing it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think in general, we're all sort of learning and growing. And so I appreciate that. Thank you for saying that.
And also people who do know they're doing it. Like if you're saying a
Yeah.
like racial slur at someone, pretty sure that's intentional.
Right.
And we had a white supremacist rally, and some white supremacist person like drove their van into a protest last week, like from Wakefield. Did you see that in the paper? That's nice.
Yeah.
So, Teresa, you were also going to say something a minute ago.
No, I was gonna say that Creations participated in an International Women's Day event that we did last year, so they were involved with us, with our group. They were, when they first actually, I think they were just like opening up, and so I know they were very open to being part of whatever we were working on, so I'm sorry to hear that happened to them, but it sucks.
I had thought about this as, we have this boilerplate thing, this thing that we put out when incidents happen. And I had thought about like, is this the time to do that? But I didn't want to do it without having some kind of conversation, particularly with the employee. To like, she might not want a statement put out about an event that happened to her or whatever. So, but that's
Right.
like, anyway, that was on my mind about this event. I was like, this is it. This is like, we stand against hate in Wakefield or whatever our like statement is. But particularly in like such an like personal, like one-on-one event. I don't know. I wasn't sure what was the right thing to do about that.
I feel like the next step is going down there and just having a conversation. I'd love it if a couple of people wanted to come with me. Because I think that would be helpful just to show some support.
Sure. Yeah, just let me know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let
Thank
us
you.
know when it might happen. The tricky part like is, they're open coffee
Totally.
shop hours, right? So it's like,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's my challenge too, is
yeah.
figuring out a time that's going to work for everyone. But I'm happy to figure that out and then send it to everybody.
Yeah. And just see who can make it. That would be
I
good.
would love to go. I'm always looking to build new relationships in Wakefield, and this week I have complete flexibility. It just takes me an hour to get there.
Great. Okay. Thanks, everyone.
Well, Elaine, thanks for taking the initiative and like seeing that was there and reaching out and, starting the ball rolling.
Sure thing.
Right. Anything else on that before we move on to the next thing? Great. Yana, you want to give us a little update from the youth council? Not little. Do you want to give us a great and meaningful update from the youth council?
Of course. So, we on Veterans Day, which was last Thursday, we had the Wakefield Youth Community Cleanup, which was a very big success. Like we were surprised and so thankful for all like the help and like support we got through the community. I think we had over 130 youth participants, which is amazing. And we did we like promised and challenged that every pound of trash would donate $5 to the veterans roll, like to Washington, I think. No, Vietnam era veterans roll to Washington. And we end up raising, well, we have to raise, which were discussed in tomorrow's meeting of how we're gonna do that. But our challenge is $1,467.50, which is,
Wait, so you raised,
we have
I
to
mean, you picked up that much trash that it would be, holy cow.
which is tomorrow's meeting. Probably we're gonna discuss how we're gonna raise that. But that's what we're looking forward to, or what's next. But yeah, it was so fun. I was at the Galvin. There was also the Veterans Field in Park in Lower Upper Common, and I think the Galvin alone had a lot of youth participants, and we raised around, we like collected 150 pounds of trash. I think a bit more than that, which is a lot. So it's good. We're hoping to do this again sometime, like in the future, because it was great. Maybe around Earth Day or something. But yep, that's the big update.
It was a great event, very well organized too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you.
That's awesome. Thanks, Yana.
Yes, of course.
Let's see. Update on the active bystander training. So you will recall from last time, we talked about the active bystander training. What are we going to do? Should we reschedule it? Should we pivot to doing a youth training? I reached out to the Quabbin mediation people who do like who run the whole TAB program. And they let me know what I totally didn't understand, which was the youth training is a totally different beast. It's not just the same training, but like tailored to young people. It's a train the trainer program where they train a bunch of young people to be TAB trainers who then can bring those concepts to the schools. So it's like much more involved, it's more expensive. And it turns out Daniel Lieber is a TAB trainer, and he approached the schools about bringing TAB to bringing the youth training to the schools. So he's already in communication with the superintendent about this topic. So those are some facts to consider. Then I reached out to, or kind of at the same time, I was in the midst of reaching out to Wave to find out if they have input or thoughts about what we should do with this kind of lingering training that we haven't done yet. So I shared that information with them, and I believe they're having a meeting. So this is one tricky thing. Wave is having a meeting tomorrow morning at 8:30. And they said, can someone from the HRC come to our Wave meeting? It is tomorrow morning at 8:30 in person at WCAT. So I can't go. I asked Sherry if she would go, hoping that she would have some flexibility in her schedule since she's mostly retired, and also because she's involved in the, she's one of the trainers. She can't go though. So that's a bunch of information, and also a quasi ask. If anybody happens to be available tomorrow morning and wants to go to the Wave meeting, I can talk to you offline about all these updates and give you the info.
I can go as long as I can only stay for an hour, but I can make that meeting.
That would be cool. Yeah, I can share with you what I was just describing. I can actually send you the email from the TAB organizer people. Her name is Beryl. That talks about the details of how that youth training works and why it's different from what we had originally contacted them to do, and what I can share that information with you. And then, yeah, and I think that, so Janet Yentile, I'm not sure how you say her name. She's the person at Wave. She's I don't know what you call it, the chair or whatever of Wave. So she's the person that I was talking to about these various considerations and developments. So I'm assuming that she's also sharing all this information with Wave, but it will be helpful perhaps to have a member of the HRC there for that meeting. So I appreciate that, Nicole.
So just to clarify for the notes, so at this point, nothing has been rescheduled. Is that right?
Yeah, okay. Correct. We're still trying to figure out, because what we had talked about last time was, wouldn't it be cool if we could propose to the schools hey, we already paid for one session of this training. If you want to bring I don't know what kind of budget you have in the school, but bring a couple more sessions, we can bring this training to the youth, which could still be possible, because the other clarification I got from Beryl is that we had been functioning, I think, under the understanding that the TAB training was for people who are maybe 17 and older, but she said it's actually 14 and up. So it's intended for high schoolers basically and older. So it could still be possible that we could offer to bring the TAB training that we already have contracted them for to the youth. That could still happen. But also I'm not totally sure what the current thing is between Daniel Lieber and the superintendent. Maybe they're already moving forward. I don't really know what's going on, but so nothing has yet been decided. Things are still up in the air. There's more conversation to be had, I think, is basically where we're at. Yeah, Elizabeth.
Another piece of information for our own thinking about what we're doing is that I heard from a number of people recently who found out about our last time we had it scheduled the day before it was supposed to have happened. So I think that a huge part of our problem may have been our own promotion.
Yeah, Daniela.
So I was thinking this over, and I was wondering if we could ever exercise flyers and putting it at local businesses that would be open to having that, you know, say like the bread shop, or I know that we already exercise the library and the public bulletin boards and online, but just places where people could scan a QR code to learn more. You know, if Sherry would be open to making like an eye-catching graphic, and then people can kind of make a decision that way, just to get it out and about in a physical realm that might help on top of the digital. Because I think in addition to people being zoomed out, they're also sometimes narrowing their focus on social media, whether it's limiting time or even just like not reading the newspapers. So that might be a miss there. And also, when I was giving it some thought, I think it would be pertinent to have especially what you just said, Benny, the training that we're already contracted to, and open it up to the youth. You know, the behaviors that was mentioned in the last meeting that were in the schools, just sounds like that would be helpful, and hopefully they will bring that home and spread the knowledge. And general question, can this be recorded? Can it be televised?
I don't think that they do that, but we could ask.
Okay. I'm not sure, like, you know, we wouldn't want to, you know, say like online, but not sure if a recording of it in the classrooms, like if a teacher wanted this part of their lesson. I don't know what courses are actually being taught in the high schools these days, but you know, sociology might be relevant. And if they're still teaching that, it could be something that, again, Daniel Lieberman might be already on it though. However, that's going to be introduced to the schools.
Yeah, it's tricky. I believe, if I'm remembering right, I don't remember, maybe other people who went to it remember better. It's on Zoom, and then there's like breakout rooms, and you're like discussing different
Okay.
like things. I don't know that it would work as like a recording in the same way.
Yeah, definitely not with breakout rooms. Okay. But yeah, so that's what I was thinking, just through my 2 cents. The version that we're already contracted for and opening it up to students, or just anyone 14 and up.
Yeah, and no lie, there was definitely a problem with the promotions last time, partly stemming from the fact that the link that they gave us to register turned out to be broken. But we didn't realize it until like it was really, really like kind of the last minute. So then we resent it out with a fixed link, but it literally was like, yeah, the weekend before or something. So that was a disaster.
And I think one of the topics last month was also timing. Nicole brought up a good point that it's difficult time almost all the time because there's just always something going on. But I'm inclined to suggest that perhaps we do it like mid-January, just because people who are working are closing out the year, and then it's the holiday season, people are traveling potentially. But January, like the second week in January, it's a little bit, you know, I'm not sure if that also correlates with winter break, when kids are on break, and if that is something that would be either good or bad. Like, our family's usually on vacation then maybe like the week after that.
We could do a tie-in with MLK Day though, like if we're having an event that tries to speak to this issue of like division or whatever amongst people, we could have MLK schedule this training for like 2 weeks later and promo it at the MLK Day event. Like, hey, do you want to do something about this in your life? Attend our training.
Really good idea.
Yeah, Emma, go for it.
I think it would definitely be good to spread it around the school just because of what has been happening around our school. I think I think it would be a good way just to show our peers that we're like, we want to change the community for the better, even though there's always going to be that bad, as long as most of the people are trying to do good. I think it kind of shows our community is moving in the right direction. And also I could probably ask if they could do like an announcement maybe in January about the event, because I think a lot of kids at school would definitely want to participate in that, because we have a lot of groups that are like inclined to helping out the community and just like students in general. So I think that would be really interesting. And then also we have mid-years, I think around mid-January. So probably maybe later in January would work best for everyone, and before February break, just because I know we have that too. So that's just something to consider.
That's great to know. Yeah. Okay. So maybe these are some ideas to bring to the wave meeting tomorrow and say, like, if we do want to just, try to bring this back to the community / include the school sort of more proactively, could try to do that. Late January might be ideal. Cool.
Are we allowed to pay for advertising as a government entity? So say like, because we have a Facebook page, we could do a Facebook ad and promote it to, certain communities. So you could say like local, you could say like members of community groups. Generally Facebook's algorithm will, take it from there. But just a thought that when we put up this post, we could also make it into an ad form. I think they just need a graphic, like a picture. And that would actually be an ad, not just on Facebook, but on Instagram, because the platforms, they're interchanged. Even though that we don't have a Instagram profile, it'll show up to people typically geotagged or actively in the vicinity of Wakefield.
I think Jen McDonald could probably answer that question about whether or not we could do it in an ad form. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I can ask her. And let everyone know.
I've seen other town things as ads. Couldn't tell you if they were government though. Okay.
Okay. Any other thoughts or questions, reactions, anything about the tab training? Cool. Let's see. Next on the agenda. Oh, we're going to skip until next time. The mental health resources and programming is something that Lindsay was going to talk to us about, but she can't be here tonight. So we're going to do it next time. Are there any matters not anticipated? Yeah, Maria.
I had one. The buttons. I had ordered 300 buttons that were not very expensive, less than $100. I can double check the actual figure, somewhere between 50 and 80, I want to say. But we had a ton of them, and then the Halloween event happened, and they're gone. They're completely gone. So I wanted to see if we wanted to order another batch, in which case I'd be happy to take care of that.
I think it would be good.
Yeah, those were fun.
Yeah, we got decimated at Halloween, that like whatever event that was. It was a madhouse.
Yeah,
it was crazy. It was fun.
Yeah, is that a thing we have to vote on?
Yes, and if you bear with me for just a sec, I can tell you exactly how much they were. Okay, they were 82.
For 300.
For 300, yeah. And that includes the shipping.
Wow.
So what do people think? Buy more buttons?
Yes.
Yeah, if they went that well, they're definitely worth
Yeah.
having, right?
No, people love to take stuff from the table. They want goodies. Yeah, that's good.
Does somebody want to make a motion that we do that thing?
Move that we approve the purchase of 300 buttons for $82.
Second,
Okay.
Awesome. Okay. Teresa, what is your vote?
yes.
Nicole?
Yes.
Jeremy?
Yes.
Daniela?
Yes.
Eileen?
Yes.
Maria?
Yes.
Emma?
Yes.
Elizabeth?
Yes.
I also vote yes. We are in agreement. Cool. Other matters not anticipated?
I was just thinking about the Halloween event, and I feel like we need to have more of something on the table for people. Maybe it's like descriptions of different cultures or sexual identity or orientation or that kind of thing, because I had a couple of individuals come up to tell me that their children were transgender and they wish that they had more information on that. And obviously, like, that's not my responsibility to explain to them how that works, but it would be really nice if we had, you know, a flyer that had resources for them to reach out to learn more or that kind of thing. Is that something we've ever done before?
Think so. We mostly have had like, yeah, information about the HRC, but I don't see why not.
Okay, I can start to brainstorm some of those and then share them with people if they're interested in adding.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be cool.
Okay, cool.
I'm glad that people came up to you. I feel like our experience was that it was such a madhouse that like there was no conversation happening about things. That was like just not.
I had like the last shift. So at that
Uh,
point, people were strolling instead of, you know,
Right.
throwing elbows to get the candy.
We got the early rush. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
that's
It
good
was-
though. That's
yeah.
good that you feel comfortable to just, you know, ask stuff like that.
Yeah, ask questions.
Yeah.
Great. Maybe this is an opportunity for Lindsay to provide some resources too, because I know that she's been thinking about mental health resources, and maybe there's a good way for us to collaborate there.
Yeah, totally. Cool. Any other stuff? Things on people's minds?
I was just thinking related to that, Eileen, I would love to be able to like pull together the like places of worship that are more accessible and friendly and inclusive, particularly within our town. And I'm happy to do the work of, because I mean, I know that I can name us and the Episcopal Church, and I'm not sure about the Methodist Church. Each Methodist church tends to go its own direction, and the temple. But I'm happy to do some reaching out to colleagues to make sure that that list is accurate.
That'll be great. Thank you. And then the only other thing that we talked about at the last meeting that we maybe didn't put on the agenda this time around was the land acknowledgement. And I don't know if we want to save it for the next meeting.
Yeah, I haven't been able to have an exchange with I had been working on reaching out to the Massachusetts tribe, but I haven't like gotten through anything that would like amount to a conversation about the land acknowledgement. I don't know. And somebody else was was it you were gonna reach out to someone? I can't remember who.
Yeah, I reached out to the MCNAA and they actually, I mean, they're getting that request, it sounds like every day. And so they sent a link that provided a whole bunch of resources. You can kind of go down a rabbit hole, honestly, of like link after link and reading after reading, but there were a few that were pretty interesting, but I'm just not sure where to go with it, whether we pool that information together and report back and then everyone makes a decision based on that or what.
What I was thinking is I'd be interested in working on it with you, Eileen, if you want to like look at some of those resources and best practices and things, draft something and then either bring it back here or contact continue trying to get a hold of the Massachusetts tribe, because I think it might be helpful to go to them with something instead of like, hey, tell us what to do. Be like, hey, we've done our work and this is where we're at. Tell us if you think this is like you know what you would want to see.
Right.
And then, depending on what they say, maybe we amend it, maybe we do whatever. And like, then I don't know if it's before or after, I don't know where in the process it happens. We can always bring it back to this group to like update on what we're doing and eventually vote on it.
Okay, that's great.
What do people think? Does that sound like a workable process to people?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was also going to reach out to the Mass Coalition of Human Rights Commissions, and yeah, didn't get a chance to do that. So I will do that too and let you guys know.
So Eileen, let's you and me put our heads together at some point.
Sounds good.
And let us know, Maria, what they get back to you with if you get a hold of them.
I know. I went to an event on Saturday at the Galvin and they did the land, like it was the musical, like all together now, and they did the land acknowledgement, which I thought it was interesting when they started the event. I know that was
and that was through the school. Is sort of it was like the school
the theater. I don't know.
Yeah, the performing arts department.
Yeah.
I think the takeaway from everything I've read so far is exactly what Jeremy was talking about at our last meeting, which it's not enough to just do a land acknowledgement. There needs to be and then this is what we're going to do with this information and how we're going to celebrate the land and the people that, sort of cultivated it. So, it's interesting that they did that at the Galvin. It's great.
On the note of like, what are we gonna do about it? Since it would be coming from the HRC or supported by the HRC, we could make it as part of our mission that we, for Indigenous Peoples Days or any sort of holidays that is related, we make an effort to teach specifically about those tribes. There's probably more than one, because the land acknowledgement most likely will be like, land originally belonged to so-and-so, and then we'll have to say like a broad high level history of the changing. We can go into different books or writing things that were written, or art from those who are descendants of the tribes if they are no longer around. So that way we're more intentional, because before, I think it was pretty broad, and we even thought like, oh, what about our local tribes? Like the mascot, for example, the old mascot wasn't wearing a traditional headdress of the tribes of this land. So just a thought as far as like what we can do.
Yeah, it's a great point.
Any other thoughts about that before Eileen and I start trying to put something together? Okay. Then that concludes our meeting. Can we, Maria, do you have the action list?
Yes, so anyone that wants to attend the subcommittee meeting for the MLK CSK event can attend tomorrow night. Eileen is going to connect with anyone interested in talking with the owner of Creations. Let's see, Nicole is going to go to the WAVE meeting tomorrow morning to talk to them about the active bystander training and how we want to proceed with that. I'm going to order 300 more buttons. Let's see. Eileen is going to do some brainstorming about additional resources at the table when we're tabling at events. And Benny and Eileen will connect to draft something around a land acknowledgement and reach out to local tribes for their feedback. That sound like everything?
I'm gonna ask Jen McDonald if we can advertise an event on Facebook.
Yes, I do have that in the notes. I just, yep, forgot it.
Cool.
And Maria, can you share that contact for the gospel singer that you mentioned?
Yep.
If you can just send me that or email the person and CC me on it, whatever way works. Oh,
Okay.
I'm gonna go mute.
Yep, I'll get that to you.
Cool. Well then, would anybody like to move to adjourn?
Move that we adjourn.
Second, sorry.
Nice. Okay, Teresa, do you want to adjourn?
Yes.
Nicole,
Yes.
Jeremy,
Yes.
Daniela,
Yes.
Eileen,
Yes.
Maria,
Yes.
Emma,
Yes.
Elizabeth?
Yes.
I also say yes.